Welcome to the cave. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Exciting times. I was been doing a little research in your career and everything. It looks like you're trending up the way
Just
things look like.
on the up and up right now. It's great.
It's great. The listeners, the viewers that tune into this interview, they can see you as Rachel on Alert Missing Persons Unit on Fox. What a great series so far, huh?
It's been super exciting. Like the first there was like a double premiere episode, and it was
Yeah.
just like my heart was pumping. I was so nervous. But like I absolutely adore the cast. They're fantastic. So I'm very excited to see how like even though I'm on the show, I'm excited to see how the season goes.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna jump into it in a few minutes too. But I was trying to do some research on everything, like I mentioned before we went on the air. So originally from Montreal, now in Toronto, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Started acting at a young age.
I did. I started acting when I was 11. It was mostly like stage plays. And then when I graduated from high school, I didn't really want to do anything but act. So I did like a college degree
Yeah.
in theater. And then from there, got an agent and started doing voice work and on camera work, and it's just kind of steadily built. Like I'm a lifer.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it for the rest of my life.
Uh, what made you get into the entertainment industry? You said you started at a young age. Like, was there like something you're watching on TV, a movie, film, or like Friends, or
I think I just liked the imaginary aspect of it. I had a very vivid imagination growing up, and I was always playing pretend. And then I stepped out on stage like in my first play, and
mm,
it just felt like home. And there's nothing that I've done in my life that has been as fun and as exciting. And it's
yeah,
like it's a hard business, but like it is a fun job. Like
right,
there's a whole lot of hard work involved, but like at the end of the day, I've gotten to play a unicorn on a cartoon and like a god on a video game and like countless characters on camera. Like who else can what other career can you can say that they can do that, right?
right. And it's great about like you've done a little bit of everything. And like you mentioned,
Yeah.
like the voiceover work for video games, animation, uh, TV, film. What's left? Like, do you have like something on the bucket list you're like you got to check off?
I did an audiobook last year, so that I got that
Okay.
done. I guess like VR would be like really cool.
Mm,
I've never done something like that, and like maybe doing like transitioning from like the regular video games that like you're kind of like separated by the
yeah.
screen and like whatever sort of gaming system that you're using, and maybe like performing in a way that like is more interactive with the gamer or the person
Mm,
who's playing. That could be really cool. I'm hoping that maybe like that's something like on my bucket list.
right. And what's great now, like everything has changed. Like I've had a few guests on here that done a little bit of both, and like it's great. I can do my video game and voiceover at home, send the tape in, and that's it. I don't have to go to the studio anymore.
That actually happened during the pandemic.
Yeah,
We were I was the protagonist in a game from Ubisoft called Immortals Phoenix Rising, and I played one of the like you could choose the male or female Phoenix, and I
yeah,
was the female, and we were unfortunately had to kind of like put a pause on recording because all the recording studios were closed like right at the beginning of the pandemic, and we were just kind of recording a scratch tape so that the animators could start animating. So I was like actually patching in from my apartment, like
yeah.
screaming and shouting, and like my poor cat was like, what is going on? But yeah, it was like an interesting time when we had to kind of adapt to that for sure.
Mm. How different is it auditioning for voiceover animation compared to like TV and film?
It's so different. It's so different. I mean, like I would apply the same sort of like text work, like a script is
Okay,
a script, but like on camera, I think things are kind of gearing towards like obviously depending on the style. Like if you're in a sitcom, you can definitely play it out, but like I think things are getting way more natural nowadays.
yeah,
Even in voice work. But you typically most performers like to be memorized so that they can just really focus on letting go and connecting with their scene partner, not thinking about the script.
mm,
So that there's that element involved, and like you know, making sure that you're like, if you're playing a doctor, I don't think you need to put like on a doctor costume, but like just like
Right.
elements that you would look like a hint of the character. Whereas like for voiceover work, like I go into my booth, I recorded a bunch of times, I listen to it, I'm like, oh my God, I hate it. I'm gonna start all over again. You can kind of like edit it and kind of find it as you go. And it's just a different style too. Like animation is like more energy and you can kind of put on voices. And I wouldn't ever do that for on camera unless it was like a crazy character that wasn't close to me at all. But
Mm,
they're both really fun. So I'm glad I get to do a little bit of both.
yeah. What do you enjoy more, voiceover or TV film? I got to
I
put you on the
don't
spot.
I know. I think it like really depends on the project because like there's been some like animation projects that like I wish were still going because it was like like there's it nothing super big happened with it, but um there was this YouTube like actually three shows that were kind of created at the same time based on this like toy that was very big a few years
Mhm.
ago called Fingerlings.
Okay.
And it was brilliant. Like one of the shows was like very much animated, and then the two other shows were like puppeteered with the toys, and they were so creative and so funny and very meta. And I got to play this crazy unicorn, and I loved working with the director who was also the writer, and it was like just joy going there every day. And then like I got to like and then I got to do like an amazing show like Alert where like I had
Yeah.
like, a fantastic time. And like I can't really say like if I like one or the other. I think it's just like I try to enjoy it as much as I can when
Mm.
I get there. And sometimes like things aren't as fun and it feels more like work, but like when you really get to enjoy it, like when you're there, it's the best time in the world.
Would you say Alert is your favorite project to this day?
For on camera, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely was. It was like for me, like I'm a Canadian actor, like I've worked a lot, but like I haven't had like especially on TV, like I've had like larger roles recently, but it's usually just like one or two episodes. And
Mm.
this was really nice. I don't want to like spoil anything, but I'm on more than one.
Yeah.
And I have like a little episode arc and I got to do things on the set that I've never gotten to do. And it was as an actor, it was really satisfying for sure.
Amazing. What about like for voiceover work? What's been your favorite, you think?
Definitely a tie between that fingerling show where I played the crazy sugar addicted unicorn
Yeah.
and the Ubisoft game Immortals Phoenix Rising because it was like a longer process,
Yeah.
like recording the whole game and like developing the character and um like I just loved playing her. Like she was just like a like very close to me, but like in a very heightened situation. And
Mm.
the game like is like I actually played it and it was really fun and it kind of like is under the radar. Like I think people when they play it, they enjoy it, but it got released like around the same time as oh my God, what was that Keanu Reeves game that everybody was freaking out about like a couple years
Oh,
ago?
oh, was it Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
It got
Yeah,
released like
yeah, yeah.
2 weeks before Cyberpunk and like it kind of just like
Uh,
kind of disappeared, but like people still play it and like
yeah.
I love that character. So I think that's a tie.
There you go. Amazing. So yeah, let's jump on your in your latest project now, Alert Missing Persons Unit, which premiered on Fox a few weeks ago. How were you approached for the series? Tell us a little bit about that.
Um so I sent in an audition and I really loved the character. Like it just really felt like me. It was like one of those times where it's like, oh, I can just like totally be me. Like the character description is
Yeah.
Rachel. She's like in quotations, it says she's a bottle of friggin' sunshine. I'm like, okay, that's like I could be that. And
Yeah.
I got a call that I was being put forward to the network to see if they wanted to work with me. And my agent forewarned me that they were being very uh like they weren't really going with like everything, like everyone that the creatives were interested in. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh
Deliver.
goodness, like maybe I won't get it. And then she called me like an hour later saying you booked it. And it was just like it happened very fast and I had to head to Montreal and it was great. And it was exciting because sometimes like you don't know what's going to happen in the episodes and it was just really cool to like find out that the story kept going, so it was fun.
So I was reading some reviews on the show and everything, and like so far it's been good reviews on the show. What's your thoughts on all of
Yeah.
this, and what's been like the reaction from people that you've spoken to about the show?
Like people who I haven't spoken to in years have messaged me just saying like, "Oh my God, I love the show. It's so great." It's also really fun because I'm from Montreal and I have like
Yeah,
a lot of people that I know, like actors that are still there and they're on the show. Like it's so exciting to be watching and be like, "Oh my God, that's so and so," and that they did such a great job. So it's kind of like I'm excited for non-actors to see it, but I'm also excited for like
yeah.
the community there that like they're all getting to see themselves like in a pretty big show and like they're doing so great. So it's been an exciting time.
So you mentioned it gets filmed in Montreal, huh?
Yeah, it does. I mean, wait, it's definitely filmed in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. No, but because it's funny because like I hear mostly like whenever I have like Canadian actors that come on there, they tell me everything's in Toronto. So is this like one of the first things in Montreal, or has it been more?
Oh, I think a lot gets filmed in Montreal, like a lot of things
Okay.
that look like New York, like European stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Montreal's been on the map for a long time for filming.
Mm.
And then I think it like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, like those are the big ones for Canada. Like, and a lot of stuff comes to shoot up here. So you'd be surprised the amount of stuff that gets shot in Montreal.
So we mentioned we see you as Rachel, medical examiner. How do you prepare to play such a role? Like, what kind of research did you put into it?
I watched a lot of YouTube videos. That was a couple of months ago, so please don't quiz me.
No,
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't have to interact that much with any sort of bodies, but like
yeah,
just kind of get an idea of what she does day to day. It was a good idea just to do some research like that. I personally like I think like I'm very close to her, but I think that's the one thing that I couldn't do. I like a huge fear of death. So it's just ironic that I'm playing someone who's a medical examiner.
uh, what do you think was the biggest challenge playing this character? And what do you love about her?
Um well, I don't want to give any spoilers, but like
Yeah.
there's like a couple of the scenes where like not emotionally challenging in that I couldn't do it, but just
Mm,
that like some of the scenes like had some like disappointment or some like heartbreak and it's I'm excited to see how that came across, but like on set like it's always fun as an actor to play, but as a
yeah.
human being, it's kind of like you kind of have to go through it truthfully. And then at the end of the day, you kind of shake it off and like, go have a cupcake or something. But
Right.
it's like it's fun to play, but it's also like you kind of have to dig a little deep for those things.
Mm. And I was reading, when I was doing the research, you have a lot of scenes with Petey Gibson.
Yeah.
How is it working with him?
He's unbelievable. Like just the sweetest person I've ever met. When I found out that I booked it, I got an email from the wardrobe department and they were doing a fitting with him and he was so excited to see who they had cast as Rachel. Now
Mm,
wardrobe knows everything. Like
okay.
all wardrobe departments, they have to know everything in advance because they have to buy clothes and stuff. So they're like they know all the information.
Mm,
So they messaged me and just said, "Would you be cool if we gave Petey your contact info and he just wants to meet you before?" So we hopped on a Zoom call and we chatted and like he just wanted to make sure I was like comfortable and like no other I'm sure in the history of TV actors have
yeah.
done that before, but no one's ever done that for me. And it was like such a lovely gesture and like so professional and like he just like a game, like
Right.
top notch. Like he's just such a great guy.
And I'll speak of the rest of the cast now. You have Scott Kahn and Dania Ramirez, but that's a fantastic little duel right there.
Oh my God. Yeah. They're so cool. I didn't get to interact with, I had one scene with them, but like what a pleasure it was just being in the same room as like such an impeccable cast, like so professional, like no, they know exactly what they're doing. They're so friendly, they're so supportive, and it feels like a group of friends when you're around them, which is really cool.
That's awesome. And who knows? Maybe in future episodes you have more scenes with them. We never know.
Yes. Hopefully it gets a second season.
That's right. Um, what's next for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about?
I'm currently, as well as being an actor, I'm also a screenwriter, and I'm not allowed talking specifically about the details, but I am working on a rom-com with my writing partner for a production company in Toronto that those usually get sold to like Lifetime or Hallmark or things like that. So
Yeah.
we're really excited because it's our first it's our first gig, and we've been working on being writers for like 3 years, just kind of like toying around, and we sold an idea, so it's very exciting. So we're in the process of writing it together, and hopefully it'll be on screen in the next year or so.
Yeah. Now, is your plan to be in it, you think, or you want to work on the outside?
I think I could maybe like try to no. I think for the first one, we'll let other actors do it, but maybe in the future it'd be fun to just like throw in like a fun character for me to play.
I did know, I saw that you teach acting too, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you tell all the newbies that are trying to break into the business? What do you what's one advice that you give to them?
I think that anyone can act if they want to do it. Absolutely. I don't think it's like a magical gift. I think sometimes I think like based on how someone is raised and if they're like emotionally open, it's a bit easier for some people to get into it. And some people, maybe they like have an emotional block that they need to work through, and that's totally cool. Everybody's got their own thing. But I think like the thing that I say to most people, if they want to do this professionally, is that like some people, like they audition for something and they get it right away and they're super famous, but that's like really the odd person. It's mostly people just, continuing to do what they do and trying to get better and just trying to like, I think the advice that I took most to heart was that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I've been doing this like for 20 years, like, and it kind of went by like that, but like, obviously there's some good years and bad years, but like, I just want to be an actor until, for the rest of my life. And like, I don't really care about being famous. I just want to be challenged as an actor and like be proud of my work and hopefully tell good stories. But for the people that like are just starting out, I usually, have like a heart-to-heart conversation of like if you want to do this, that's cool. But like, don't give yourself a deadline if you still love it. Like in 5 years, if you're like, I never want to do this again, that's totally fine. You can always come back to it if you want, but don't feel like you have to achieve success right away. It could happen, but like
that's right.
Most of the time it's just kind of like, just enjoy it and just try to keep doing it.
Amazing. Lastly, now, how can the listeners of yours find your social media to keep up with news on the show, future projects?
Absolutely. I have an Instagram account. It's at Elana D. And you can see acting updates with projects. Sometimes I post pictures of my very chunky cat. So if you like that sort of thing, you can totally check me out. And then I also have a website with like my headshots and demos and updates and things like that. And that's elanadunkelman.com. And if you want to see like any acting clips, I have like a Vimeo showcase, so you can see some stuff that I've been in before.
Amazing, Elana. I want to thank you for giving a few minutes today. This was great.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.